Okay, Broncos country, we are live, but we just got to let the stream breathe for just a second here and make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. Welcome in, Broncos country. The Broncos lose a devastating, heartbreaking, unbelievable, just gobsmacking game in the worst fashion that you could possibly imagine. A blocked field goal on what would have been the game winner. This team went into Kansas City. They fought their ass off, man. They were in position to win this game. And in the end, when it mattered most, Kansas City got the play that they needed. Additionally, I don't ever like blaming officials, but dude, that play, that illegal contact on the Nick Bonito third down sack in the first half, that was the difference. That would have knocked KC out of field goal range. They would have punted. Instead, that phantom penalty extended the drive. Kansas City got a touchdown out of it. And that was ultimately the difference. That was ultimately the difference. And there was another bad call, too, in the second half on a big Audric Estime run that would have extended the drive. Denver had to punt on that drive. I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs because Denver didn't make enough plays today to win. But at the end of the day, the way that they lost this game just kicks you in the fucking stomach, man. It really does. It really does. Bronco fan says, are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Crumble cookie. What was the O-line doing on that field goal? They got blown up. The one thing you don't have to do and you can't afford to do in that situation is get blown up and put on your ass. And that's exactly what freaking happened. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. That penalty was disgusting, says Bronco fan. It just makes you sick. It makes you sick that that's how you lose a game. You go in there and you fight your tail off until the last snap. You give yourself a chance to win, and that's how you lose, man. It's just, yep, like D says, your heart's just torn to shreds after that. Kim says we're the laughing stock of the league. I mean, that definitely is a killer, man. It definitely does not go to earn you any respect in the NFL. It hurts. The game was so winnable. Bo looked like a winner. This was a step forward. We should have beat him at home. I agree. This was a step forward for Bo Nix. This was a step forward for this team. It's just the way it ended. It just breaks your freaking heart. Peyton got too cute. I don't know, man. I think the Broncos managed it well at the end. It just, at the end of the day, man, that blocked field goal was a lack of execution. This sucks. There goes our playoff hopes. That's not true. Thankfully, that is not true. The good news here, if there is a silver lining, the Broncos still have grasp of the 7th seed right now. Next week against Atlanta does become a must-win game. It does. But Denver does still have grasp of the 7th seed. Winchester, please do not spam the chat more than once. We're going to put you in a 5-minute timeout. Yeah, please don't spam the chat. That is a rule that we have here. Kneel it so your kicker can have center and get more air underneath the ball. Don't QB run slide to the right. Will Lutz wanted the ball on the right hash. That was where he was most comfortable with it. Again, it was bad execution up front. Your line got blown up. I didn't see who it was, but they got absolutely blown up and put right on their ass. And that was ultimately the difference. We got screwed. What joke officials. Again, man, I'm not going to say that this was all on the officials. Denver could have made more plays at the end. But when you lose a game like that, when you have Patrick Mahomes wrapped up for a sack on third down to take you out of field goal range, and you get a bullcrap illegal contact penalty. Really? Refs. When your voice was rising, I thought we were going to win. Yeah, man, it was just heartbreaking. Just absolutely heartbreaking. Atlanta lost. Well, that's good to see. Peyton needs to quit with his stupid play calling, try to be cute. They celebrated too early. Super tired of this team, honestly. Where do you think Peyton's play calling led this team astray? I can point to one bad play call That's about it. And that was basically that stupid end around, that reverse on second down and long. That was one bad play call I can point to. You had them on the ropes. You should have won that game. But at the end of the day, you get a blocked field goal, and that was the ultimate difference in this game. You scored 0 points in the second half. You were in position to walk off with that field goal, but had a couple of killer penalties there on some of your drives in the second half. You think about, I believe it was the first drive coming out of halftime where Garrett Bowles has that bad holding call there, and that killed that drive. That's what it was, man. You had a couple of inopportune penalties at bad times, and then you had referees making up phantom penalties. That put you behind the chains there. That last drive that the Chiefs had the ball, I think there was another bad penalty on that. I want to take a look at this again here and make sure that I have that correct. Was there another penalty on that? Or you just, no, you gave up a bad third down conversion. That's what it was. You gave up a bad third down conversion on that final drive. It was a 3rd down 13. You had that blown coverage where both Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan were just looking at each other like, what's going on, man? Robert, thank you so much for the $5. Really appreciate it. Any chance that the Chiefs are secretly so good that they're letting opponents get as close to a win as possible before overtaking them for viewers? I don't know, man. It just felt like Denver didn't make that last play when it mattered most, and it sucks. I'm keeping an eye to see when Sean Payton takes the podium here, but it's a gut punch, man. There's no sugarcoating this loss. There's no putting a positive spin on it. This was a gut punch for the Denver Broncos. This was a game that they had a very strong chance to win, and they blew it. O-line just stood there barely blocking. Yep, it was embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. The 3rd and 9 penalty on Brandon Jones discerned the whole game. We both knew it right then. Yeah, it's true, man. Those penalties will literally change the momentum of the entire game. And when you have a phantom call like that on 3rd down, when Mahomes is dead to rights, it would have been out of field goal range. And that was ultimately the difference in the game. Kansas City got their lone touchdown on that. Didn't they get another touchdown? No, they did not. That was their lone touchdown. But yeah, man, it's just tough. It's just tough when you go in there and you put your best effort onto the field. You do really almost everything you can to win the game, and yet you still come up short. It's tough. David says Broncos aren't ready for the playoffs this year. Well, they're probably still going to make it because of an overall weak AFC. They've got opponents like the Colts and the Bengals on their schedule. Even after this loss, they're still in the playoffs if it were to end today. So ultimately, Denver's probably still going to make the playoffs. But in terms of gaining respect for maybe winning a playoff game, I mean, yeah, if you had made that field goal, you would have gotten that respect. But that's the difference, man. Ultimately, you didn't win the game, and that's what mattered. The team played okay. Defense got screwed bad by the refs, not just illegal contact. They were holding our pass rushers on the face mask all game long after that BS illegal contact. Yep. And there were a couple penalties that Denver had that certainly were warranted. You think about that Ben Powers hold that wiped out that Audric Esme run. That one was unfortunately a very valid penalty. Is Sean up? All right, Sean's up on the podium, guys. We're going to go ahead and dip out of here and bring Sean up for the post-game stream or for the press conference stream. Before we dip out of here, guys, you can just do me a big favor and leave a like on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.